We're recording. Are we recording? We're recording. Okay. Here we go. Here's my notes. So first of all, we're gonna teach you how to solve polynomial and rational inequalities. Won't take too long. The only problem here, this should be a plus sign right here. So I messed up on this handout. Change this little dash here to a plus 12. Okay. So we're gonna take a picture of this. Make it bigger, solve. Okay, so that should, what's that, man? Let me try that again. Place capture the page. Partial. Here we go. So I'm going to solve this inequality. X squared is less than or equal to 4x plus 12. So what you cannot do is you can't divide by anything, and you can't just try to solve this as if it were an equal sign. First thing you want to do is solve this like it's a quadratic equation. So you're going to bring everything onto the left side. Is less than or equal to, minus 4x minus 12 is less than or equal to 0. Okay? Then I'm going to try to factor this. Does this factor? What does it factor to? X minus 6 and x plus 2 is less than or equal to 0. So now what you want to do, if you look at the rules on that sheet, the next thing they want to do, you can't just say x equals 6 or x equals -2. You have to set up one of these number line thingies. Okay? So you draw a number line and you put the points on here where this thing is 0. Where is it 0? 6 or at -2. So you put a point at 6 and you make it a shaded in circle, and you put a point at 2 and you make that a shaded in circle. We'll call this 6 and then 2. And then what you're concerned with is where is this function greater than or less than 0, which means where is it positive and negative. So pick a point to the left of 2. What's a nice easy point to pick to the left of 2? 0 is a nice easy point. Okay? Oh, that should be -2. I'm sorry. So you're right. Yeah, that's right. That should be -2. So what's a nice easy point to the left of -2? -3, -4, whatever you want. So if I plug in -3 in here, that makes this what? Negative or positive? And that makes this, what's -3 plus 2? So I have a negative times a negative. What's a negative times a negative? Positive. So over here, this function is positive. You understand that? Okay? Then I pick a nice point between -2 and 6. What's a nice point between -2 and 6? 0. Okay? So you plug in 0 in here. If I plug in 0 here, this thing is what? Negative or positive? Negative. And this thing is 2, right? So a negative number times a positive number gives you a negative number. So we're negative in that interval. See that? And then you go to the right of 6. What's a nice number to the right of 6? 7. 7 minus 6 is positive 1, so that's positive, right? And 7 plus 2 is positive 9, so you have a positive times a positive, which is positive. So now you have to go back and answer the question, okay? Where is this thing bigger than 0? Where is the function bigger? Or sorry, they're asking where is it less than 0, right? Less than or equal to 0. It's less than or equal to 0 right in here. Yes? Okay. So where do I shade. This is how you would represent that graphically. To represent it in function notation, you would write it as -2 with a rectangular bracket to indicate that the endpoint is included, up to 6 also with a rectangular bracket. Or you could write it like x is greater than or equal to -2 and x is less than or equal to 6. Either one of these notations is fine. Okay, is that hard? That's fácil, right? Don't I speak Spanish? Bueno? I don't really speak Spanish. Okay. I just, hey, be quiet. That's not nice. I learned all my Spanish on the streets of Louisville. and that's why I'm not very good at it. Okay. So, anyway, so with this one, what do you think you want to do with this one? Anyone want to guess? What do you think you want to do with this one? Yes, Brett.
Make it x to the fourth minus x
Ah,
equal to 0.
very good. Okay. What you don't want to do is divide away an x, okay? Because you'll lose the possibility that x is equal to 0. So you can't just divide away an x when you see something like this. So what you have to do is you have to rewrite this as x to the fourth minus x is greater than 0. All right? And then what you do is you factor out an x from both of these, which gives you x cubed minus 1 is greater than 0. And then you do your number line thing again. Okay? And where is this function 0? What makes this 0? X is 0 is one place, and you make that an open circle because it says greater than. It doesn't say greater than or equal to. Yes, Olivia?
Would you not want us to factor out the x?
The x cubed, I don't think, you don't need to, okay? Because the only thing you're concerned with is what will make this 0. What's the only thing that'll make that 0? 1, right? Because if I plug in 1 here, I get 1 times 1 times 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So the only other, so this is the point 0, and here's the point 1. And both of those are open circles, okay? And then you have to do your same test. Go to the left of 0, like negative 1. If I plug in negative 1 in here, I get a negative. Negative 1 cubed is negative 1 minus 1 makes negative 2. So I get negative 1 times negative 2, which makes my function what? Positive, okay? Then I plug in a number in here, like 1/2. And if I do plug 1/2 in here, I get a positive, and 1/2 to the third is 1/8. Minus 1 gives you a negative, so I get a positive times a negative, which makes this negative, okay? And then over here, number bigger than 1, like 2, I get a positive times a positive, which gives you a positive number. So then you go back and answer the question. Where is this function bigger than 0? It's bigger than 0 from negative infinity, like this, up until 0, okay? And they both have curvy brackets on them. And from 1 up until positive infinity, like that, okay? I have time for one more. Do I have time for one more? Uh-oh. I talked too much. 1 minute? No, I have 2 minutes. Okay, really quick. If you see something like this one, which you will, and you'll see one like this on a test too, hint, hint, hint. You won't see it on your quiz tomorrow, but you will see this on a test, which I made already. Okay? What you cannot do, don't put your stuff away. Okay? What you have to do is subtract 3. When I subtract 3, I get 4x plus 5. You can't just multiply through by x plus 2, which people want to do. Minus 3 is greater than or equal to 0. And the reason I left a space there is because now what I want to do is multiply. I want to find a common denominator. So I'm going to multiply this 3 by my common denominator, which is going to be x plus 2 over x plus 2. And now, what I do is I rewrite this as 4x plus 5 minus 3x, and minus 3 times 2 gives you minus 6 over x plus 2 is greater than or equal to 0. I know I'm going fast. Combining like terms, I get x minus 1 over x plus 2 is greater than or equal to 0. And then you make your number line. Okay? Just hold on a second. Don't go yet. And on my number line, what can x not be? Negative 2. So you put a negative 2 and you put an open circle and negative 2. Even though this says greater than or equal to, it's not allowed to be negative 2 because that would make my function undefined. And then over here, what do I put? What is it? What makes the top equal to 0? 1. So I put a closed circle at x equals 1. And then I do my test again. To the left of negative 2, I get a negative. Divide by a negative, I get a positive. It goes like this, plus, minus, plus. And so then you could write x is less than negative 2, or x is greater than or equal to positive 1. See that? Berta? Yeah, maybe. Okay. The end.